over. 98.5 Speed FM.
Catch us if you can.
Stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. Same. Your love is constant. You've never lost it. Your voice is calling out my name. It makes me miss you, even when I'm with you. Oh, nobody wants to go it alone, and I just wanna stay here with you. So I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky
A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host today on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior. And Speedy Talk is a program for the youth where we talk about things that concern and affect the youth. Now, we're talking about a topic today that you can almost see everywhere these days, and that is gambling addiction. You know, gambling and betting among young people. If you walk past the bet shop, a gambling hub, or even online platforms, you'll notice a lot of young people involved trying to double their money or chase quick wins. Now, some even take risks with school fees, personal savings, or even borrowed money, thinking they can turn it into more. Now, gambling has been around for a long time in different forms, you know, from playing cards, dice, and lotteries to modern sports betting and then online platforms. And for many, it starts as entertainment, curiosity, or a way to actually test luck. But for some, it grows into a habit, sometimes leading to challenges that may not have been expected. Now, the question today is, what drives young people into gambling? What drives young people into gambling, and why do they get addicted or keep going back to it, even when it clearly starts to hurt, even when it clearly starts to show negative results, they still keep going back to it? Now, you also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. This afternoon on Speedy Talk, we are talking about gambling addiction. So what drives young people into gambling? You know, and because it's something that has become so common, so popular today, that you hear a lot of people suffer even different kind of maybe even panics because of gambling, maybe one thing or the other that they have done. People that keep turning or keep running back to it, even though it's clearly hurting, even though they are obviously getting, those negative effects. In fact, for some young people, it has actually become a part of their life so much that they cannot dare to stop. They cannot do without it. And some people try to maybe say, well, I'll take a break for now, but then it doesn't work. So what actually drives a lot of young people into gambling? If you're a young person, if you're an older person, tell us from your perspective, what do you see? What do you actually think that drives young people into gambling? And the way we see it, it might turn out that, okay, even older persons are also involved, but you find more of the young persons into gambling. And we're also going to be talking about, how it actually affects our lives, because if it's too much, then it becomes bad. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
By name, Agbotini Daniel from North Bank.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you, my sister.
Yeah, we are talking about gambling addiction.
I think most of those things is either sometimes it's parental problem and mostly it's parental problem because most parents don't even care whatever their children are doing. And again, there is this kind of peer group where children follow and copy wrong things from their bed. So I think mostly the gambling again, most of these youth that are into drugs, they find that place as a place of joy. And they know that if they get this money, they can spend and they're only on drink. Another one again is because of this some people show a kind of wealth. They go to the rural area or even in the towns to see their wealth. And so most of the youth think through that they can cut corners to achieve the same aim with them. These are some of the reasons.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for calling in to be part of the show this afternoon. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And my name is Marysyntia Hangeior. And this afternoon on the show, we are talking about gambling addiction. Now, you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. What drives young people into gambling to the point that they get addicted and keep going back to it, even if they are losing everything? Like you see a person who has lost maybe even their rent money that they were thinking they could double, and you feel like, okay, this one is going to teach him or her a lesson, but they keep going back to it. So what actually drives a lot of young people into gambling? Call in and let us hear from you this afternoon on Speedy Talk. And it's on 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. We are talking about gambling addiction today on Speedy Talk. And we heard from Daniel, who first of all, he called from North Bank. And first of all, he mentioned parental resilience. Some parents actually not monitoring or kind of checking the kind of things that their children do. Okay, yes, for the children who are still under maybe their roofs, still under their control, where they get to see what they do. For that point, as a parent, if you're close there, truly, if you're not watching and maybe not checking some of the things that they do while they are under your roof, it starts from those small ages where maybe they hear it from a guy outside, like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to bet, and before you know it, I double this money. And then some people get influenced. And Daniel also mentioned, peer group, because a lot of people are actually into that these days, and some persons actually want to fit in. So they keep going back there to the point where it becomes an addiction, but then they don't even notice because they want to be like the other peers. People have said good stories. Okay, I got this, I won this amount of money from this betting, from this gambling, and I also want to get what that person wants. And then got, and he also mentioned, substance abuse. Some persons want that quick money because they want to keep filling themselves, with some of those things that maybe they take, and then they are looking for income or those quick money. to actually get it to supply them with some of those harmful stuff that they take. And then that fast money culture. Hello. This fast money culture that we always keep talking about, some people just come and then see other persons with money, maybe wealthy or rich, and they're like, I want to become like this person. Now the problem isn't wanting to become like that person, but then wanting to become like that person in an hour or whatever the amount of minutes that you're taking to actually gamble. And then there are people who actually do this to the extent that okay, they are not even playing safe. Someone takes a whole money. You see it with students, parents pay school fees or gives a child a school fees. Okay, this is your school fees for this semester, and before you know it, it's back to tears here and there, because parents are still looking for that same amount of money that they earlier gave for school fees for a child to go and pay, but he or she may have used it for betting, for gambling, thinking that okay, I'll try and then get this money back. And one might even want to question, like, what makes you too sure that you're going to get this money back? You hear people talk about, well, I have the sure codes, I'm sure that this one is going to enter. There are a lot of languages that people actually use. So what actually drives young people to gambling? You also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. Call in and let us hear from you this afternoon on a Speedy Talk. Let us talk about it, because it's something that is eating the most part of our youth, that is eating a lot of young people. You see people carrying from debt here and there, borrowed money, trying to maybe double that money, but then it doesn't work. And someone still doesn't learn from that, borrows another person's money, thinking that, okay, this one is going to triple it. And then I get the other person I'm owing, and also get to pay, the second person. And it still doesn't work. But then they still fall back to it, getting so much addicted. So what actually drives them to that in the first place? Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. This afternoon on Speedy Talk, I am your host. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and we are talking about gambling addiction. So call in and let us hear from you, from a young person's addiction that probably may be involved or have peers who are actually into that. You can tell us what actually be going through the minds, and also even from an older person, because we hear that people who are older, they actually get to see things that maybe even the younger ones might not be seeing. Well, call in and let us hear from you, whatever perspective you're viewing it from. Now, also, I would say about influence from social media or popular games. Some people, when they post, okay, I got this sure odd and this just happened. Okay, I have a code I am going to share, and quick money, because this money thing, one might want to understand why some people say, okay, money is the root of all evil. Okay, money is not actually the root of all evil, but it actually makes people to go into some form of things that would actually maybe even damage their lives without them even knowing, because some people chase money to the extent that they want to jump on anything that actually comes on. So even when they keep losing, people have invested so much, or people have put so much into that betting, and have lost so many times that they keep feeling like, okay, the next one I am going to drop, maybe this one will be able to give me back everything that I've lost. But then in some cases, or in most cases, they end up losing even more than they might actually get. And some people maybe even get encouragement from, okay, I did it one time and I was able to cash out, I was able to get it, so why not keep putting it? Maybe that day is going to come. But how much more are you going to lose trying to get to that point where you're able to get something that is not even half of what you actually put in? Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and we are talking about gambling addiction. So call in and be part of the show this afternoon on Speedy Talk. And also we'll talk about avoiding work or responsibilities, thinking about easy money, thinking that easy money is actually the way, because there are people who actually don't want to work, and they keep thinking like, well, easy money is the way. Why am I stressing to get money? Why do I have to stress to get something like this when I can just, put in this money and then it comes out with a result? Why do I have to stress? Why do I have to go through anything just to get the money when betting is the way? Some people actually think like that. Hello? Hello? Okay, we cannot hear you, but you can still call us back. And this afternoon on Speedy Talk, we are talking about gambling addiction. So you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. We are talking about gambling addiction today on Speedy Talk. And then talk about how gambling actually affects, young people's lives. Then we talk about financial strain, losing savings and then borrowing or even stealing to recover losses, and also emotional stress, even anxiety, regret, frustration, or even guilt. And also talking about social consequences, conflict with family, friends, or colleagues. Hello? 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 All right, you can still call us back. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. This afternoon on Speedy Talk, we are talking about gambling addiction. So call in and let us hear from you. And right now, we are talking about how it actually affects a lot of people, financial strain, losing savings. Someone is saving, okay, I want to maybe do this, or I want to be able to open a business in future. But then you hear a friend talk about, well, I was able to play a bet yesterday and it came out with the result. I was able to double the money. And then you take your entire life savings and then go to put that money in, or even borrowing and stealing to recover those losses. And I was talking about social consequences, conflict with family, with friends, or even colleagues. And one might want to ask, can young people actually stop gambling, like if they want to? Because we have seen a lot of ways that it actually affects them, whether emotionally, whether physically, making people not to go forward. So can we actually stop if they want to? Like, can they actually put in effort, some of those habits or even strategies that could help them to take control? And how does awareness or maybe even support and wise decision making actually play the role? Because if you talk about something that is affecting people, then we have to find a solution, right? We cannot actually stop everyone from betting because people have a lot of beliefs. Everyone have, okay, I can gamble. There are people who have good stories of it. People who tell you, well, I gambled and this was the result. I was able to come out with something like this. So it's hard for you to convince every single person who maybe actually witnessed someone else get good from it. And you're trying to tell them, okay, this is not the way, when they have already been addicted or when they have already been convinced that that is the way. So you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. What drives young people into gambling, and how do you think that this actually affects them, and what can we actually do? Because if you want to, you cannot actually make something or say that everyone stop gambling, because probably they're not going to listen to you, right? Not everyone is going to listen to you. But then how can we stay safe? Because something start affecting, a lot of people, and before you know it, the entire society is actually affected too. Because if you have people that are not focused, or people who keep chasing the fast money, even though you keep them in those maybe bigger positions, they are still looking at life in that perspective. Now, gambling can start small, but the effects can grow over time. Many young people are drawn to the thrill of betting and the idea of quick returns, or just the social aspect of hanging out at bet shops unfortunately, without limit or planning, small bets can escalate into bigger losses. And some young people might even borrow money or even compromise even personal goals to keep playing. And you may have seen stories of even school fees, like people complaining, I gave this boy school fees, I gave this girl school fees, and then this is what he or she did. Or young people even skipping responsibilities, thinking I can double this one and then fix it. Now, this can lead to stress, strained relationships, and even lost opportunities, sometimes even before real goals have had a chance to start. And the reality is, young people can stop or control gambling if they make wise choices, understanding personal limits, thinking long term, and seeking support from friends or even family, and finding alternatives for income or even entertainment are all ways to stay on a safer path, because awareness and reflection are actually key. Gambling doesn't have to define someone's journey, and habits can be managed with careful decisions. But when you make it an entire personality, like this is my source of income or this is what I am supposed to do, someone else who is actually doing good for themselves is looking at you from a different perspective, and somehow it's just you who is in that loop that doesn't notice. So you also can still call in quickly to be part of this conversation before we go. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. We are talking about gambling addiction today on Speedy Talk. So call in and let us hear from you before we go. And I was talking about how not everyone, you cannot actually push it down people's throats. Even these days, it's even been made easy, because you don't have to even go to all those shops, because some people would say, well, it's when they see me standing in front of that shop that they are able to tell that I am gambling or I am actually betting. With smartphones in our hands, it has even make people even more, it has made it easier for people to just, look for an app and then log in and then start doing some of these things. And it starts with all this small money. Before you know it, what if I put a bigger amount of money? Because there is this belief that, well, if you put in a bigger amount of money, it's likely that you maybe even win something bigger, and it's possible that that one actually works out. But what if when it doesn't work out, and then that is the savings that you've been keeping for something better, for your future, maybe for a business, but then it just ended up in waste or in someone else's account before, because you weren't careful and you were thinking, I will have that sharp money, I'll be able to double it immediately, and well, you will just have it, because some people want to just double everything without actually working for it. So the only solution is for us to actually take care of ourselves, like be on the safer side. You cannot, if we actually ask, everyone stop gambling, then people are not going to listen to you. But how can we remain safe? Hello? All right, we cannot hear you, but you can still call us back. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. We are talking about gambling addiction. Hello?
Your call has been placed on hold. Please wait.
Okay, maybe you're going to have to call us back. And the number for you to call remains 0808 427 5464. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, I'm the first person that spoke on that issue. I want to ask.
Okay, tell us your name first.
Mr. Dan Agbasimina from North Bank.
All right, go on.
I think unemployment is another thing. When youth are not gainfully employed, it can lead them into such a thing. Then we also have the problem of awareness. When the children are there's no awareness of the effect of it, because the side effect is more great than the advantage. Because most of the time, some people, even when they go into gambling and won and even bought a house, they later sold the house again to go into it. So the only way out is to bring out, to make sure that our youth, because those ones that are already addicted to it, it's very difficult for them. Because I have a friend of mine, the whole of his salary was going for it. All advice I'm giving to him, to no avail. So I think the government also have a way, because this government also generates tax or maybe get income from it. If not, for me, it's something that we can even stop it entirely. But it does no good to anybody at all. Them use their money for garbage. You go to them, you see them standing there. So it's a problem.
Okay.
Personally, I don't have any. I can't provide any solution except only God that can intervene for such a time.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for calling in to be part of the show this afternoon. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and we are talking about gambling addiction. Hello.
Your call.
And you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464. That is 0808 427 5464. We are talking about gambling addiction. And Mr. Daniel also mentioned something. He mentioned something again. He spoke about unemployment, because some people, because of maybe not having job opportunities, that is why they go into it. But then those monies you're actually taking and then putting into that gambling, bit by bit, taking it and then expecting greater returns, and you keep losing those money, would have been enough to actually maybe be saving to start up something for yourself, maybe something small at first, and then which can actually grow into something big. But no, people would rather get that money immediately, even though they have the solution to their unemployment in their hands, which are those monies that they are taking, and dashing away to gambling, even though it keeps bringing those bad results. Okay, they are not getting anything. And one thing that I believe keeps encouraging people is, even though they are losing, the one time that they are able to get something. Hello. All right, we cannot hear you. It's really quiet over there, but you can still call us back. The one time that they are able to get something out of it, that becomes the time to say, well, I was able to get this. But then if you want to calculate, for some people, if you start calculating how much you have actually put in, the kind of emotional stress you actually went through before you got what you got, then these two cannot actually be compared. Sometimes, what you even get out of it cannot be compared to what you lost. But people immediately forget about what they have actually lost immediately after they are able to get a little pay out of it. So it is a problem, and we can start fixing it by our own selves, because no one is actually coming to save anybody. And if you talk about, okay, there should be a control, like maybe someone mentioned about government actually putting a stop to it, but then it will not be right to actually be policing everyone's decision, because that's something that people do with choice. It's not something that is imposed. So taking that away from them would be like, okay, stopping someone from actually and not everyone is going to agree, in as much as some people feel like, okay, this should be the solution. When it actually comes up, you will still hear people who will be complaining about it. So the solution is actually in our hands, to take both steps, to do whatever we can to actually break free from that addiction. Now that's it for the show. We have been looking at gambling and betting, among young people, gambling addiction, exploring why it happens, how it affects our lives, and ways we can actually make safer and wiser decisions. And so don't forget to remember that quick wins may be tempting, but thinking about your goals, your money, and your future is always the safer part. Stay tuned for more exciting programs right here on 98.5 Speed FM. And you have been listening to Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I've been your host. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior. Keep enjoying music of your life.
You get business, you get organization. You want me to hear you.